Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians Cast, episode 504. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212. I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's up, Mike D?
Good evening.
All right, so I was going to talk about tangerines with the Christmas special because Sharon she knows the story about Santa Claus with oranges, and I totally don't remember half of it. So I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow just to find out what the significance is of Santa Claus with an orange. It's a Polish thing. But she knows about all these different things with from different nationalities and different things with Christmas because she's a teacher and everything. So, but anyway, there's a lot of things that came out from Moffat lately. Today, I think he even spoke out again. Like, he just doesn't stop, this guy, about Doctor Who. He just, every day he says something. What did he say today now? If my thing ever loads, I can find out. The other day, you saw Mike D was talking about Doctor's a woman, it's definitely going to happen. I saw a video where Michelle Gomez was talking about the Master's history, which, that was interesting. She did a video on it. Moffat explained Clara Who. He explained that the whole season, he got heat that it was all about Clara. It was Clara's show. And he said to Clara, she thought it was her show, and that was the joke, that he had to do it because she got so highly of herself that she could be the Doctor. Then in her mind's eye, she is a Doctor. So that's why he did put her above the credits. Like, as a joke.
Am I the one who thinks that sounds a bit weird?
It is stupid. It's so stupid.
I'd say Moffat's out of his fucking mind at this point.
Moffat just needs to stop commenting and making stuff up every day. Let me see what the exact contents of the article. Okay. Stephen Moffat has explained playing around with the concept of Clara as a Doctor in Series 8. Speaking to Nerdist, he said, "The thing about Clara is she thinks the show is called Clara. She really does. She has no idea she's number 2 in the credits, which is why we did that joke in Death in Heaven. She's got a high opinion of herself, not in a conceited way, but in a correct way. She knows she's extremely clever and capable, and she doesn't feel like she's particularly fits in the world that she lives in. She's a bit more like the Doctor in the first place. She's not really very good at living a normal life. The other companions, like most people like you and me, can be quite good at living normal lives. I'm very happy. Very happy living my normal life. I'm sure you are too. Going to the shop seemed fine for an adventure, but Clara's not like that." He continued, "When I first wrote Clara, I thought, oh, this is fun. If the Doctor were a young woman living in contemporary Britain, it'd be a bit like her. Clever and presentable and funny, but also thinking, when is something interesting going to happen? The interesting thing between the Doctor and Clara is she can sort of play the same game he does. She can absolutely do that. She's terribly clever. She's got a wayward ego. Her botched love affair with Danny is heartbreakingly proof of that. He's a lovely man with a traumatic secret, and she just screws it up because she doesn't really give enough tension. It's just a little bit less exciting than running off in a blue box. You have to be a bit of a loony to think that way. I think for the first time the Doctor's traveling with someone who's a bit of a loony like him, and that's quite fun." Moffat also seen Death in Heaven, and if he viewed it as a sad goodbye. He said, "It wasn't so much the sadness, it's that both the Doctor and Clara are people who think they know better. And that's what they are. The Doctor always thinks he knows better. Clara always thinks she knows better. So what they do at the end is a perfect summation of their relationship. They lie to her pain and loneliness in order to protect the other because they think they know better. Amy would never have done that. She would have told him what happened. But people are more controlling than that, than they think they know what's good for everybody else, and it's not necessarily that way. So Clara's not the Doctor. She's not the same person as the Doctor. But the traditional thing is to say the hero and the arch enemy are mirrors of each other. Are they? Are they, though? Not really. I think it's more likely that friends are mirrors of each other. If you watch any close friendship, the extent of which they start to duplicate each other is quite interesting, even with Dr. Watson and Sherlock Holmes. While they're different people, they have similar appetites. So yeah, it is a perfect way to say goodbye in that episode. Each one doesn't think the other can cope with the truth. Man, he really went into detail with that. That's like deep. No?
Especially for one character, too.
Like Moffat just totally. So, what's up, Jacob?
Nothing much. I found a link on a Doctor Who article about that Stephen Moffat said he's not done with Captain Jack Harkness and River Song.
Okay, well, we're going to let you do the article in a second. I just want to continue off on what I just read, that long, lengthy story that Moffat kept going on and on and on and on. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, I see it's definitely showing, or it definitely showed what he was saying about the character. I just, I don't think that the whole series, I mean, the whole season, or series in this case, should have been about her. I really think that they could have balanced it a little bit better between her and the Doctor, because I felt like she was doing too much. Like, you don't want a character to do nothing, but there comes a point where the character starts to become the main focus, and, you know, you really do start to wonder, is this still about the Doctor, or is this about her? Is the Doctor becoming a side character, and is she becoming the main character?
He was a side character, though, this season.
Yeah. I think it could have been balanced a little bit better, but if he likes that character, he's going to write her that way, so I don't see anything, like deathly wrong with it, but I think that he could find a better way to balance how they're used. That's just my opinion. I think that, you know, she's doing a little too much for that show. I think it might be time for her to go. Because how much more is she going to do? Are they going to go back and like she invented time travel? I mean...
I really don't know, man.
Because I'm telling you, I feel like that's what's like. She's like, Omega's going to take his mask off and it's going to be her. And it's like, okay, that's different.
Yeah. Claire was like Omega's babysitter when he was like a little infant or something, rocking him in the crib.
She's done everything.
I mean, they already had to go back in time and tell the Doctor everything was going to be okay when he was a kid, and so now he's like, "Oh, thank you, voice I never saw."
Yeah, I won't use guns. I won't be a soldier. Thanks. I'll just get companions and travel through time. You already gave me the TARDIS. You said choose this one.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Clara should just leave, because I prefer Rory Tyler more than Clara.
I don't even think he realized how ridiculous he wrote her like that. She's responsible for everything. She saved Amy and Rory's marriage.
She convinced him not to destroy Gallifrey and Skaro.
What else did she do? She got him out of retirement.
Yep.
With the snowman.
She saved him when his time stream was being attacked by the Great Intelligence.
She made him say goodbye, like, you know, put River into it. It's crazy. She's done too much.
Let's not forget the important part she played in the 50th anniversary with the War Doctor.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And I mean, I'm all for making the companions important and giving them prevalent things to do, but there comes a point where it's like, let's save that for the main character.
Like, you have memories of his children, but you have no idea who the Master is. How is that? How many times did he encounter the Master that she went through his time stream? It's like, come on.
I mean,
She
really,
knows
there are
stuff that she
points in the
shouldn't
show
know.
where. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, she knows stuff she shouldn't know. Like he was married 4 times. How many children? I mean, really?
There are points in the show where I want him to just look at her and be like, okay, shut up, or
Just
let me
get the
do it.
hell out.
You know, when she was throwing the TARDIS keys into the volcano before we knew what it was, I was thinking, this is a little bit weird. This is a really strange turn of events for a companion to do. I liked it. I just said, if this is really happening, wow, that's a
Right.
bit that's a
And
bit
Moffat
much.
immediately screwed up because people were like, why don't you just snap the fingers and open up the TARDIS doors?
Yeah.
Which he had no answer for, by the way. That's all he has to do is snap the fingers, and it opens. She
And
snapped
wasn't
the
that his
fingers.
thing? Didn't he introduce that in his episode with David Tennant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say that always possible because Rose Tyler absorbed the time vortex, and he put it back in, and part of himself was connected with the TARDIS forever. So the only person who could ever do that is Rose and Clara. So you guys all right? You lagging? What?
No, we can hear you.
Okay.
No.
We take my team.
I was just thinking, I like Capaldi, but I mean, this series I don't think was that great. I actually think the series, I knew there was going to be a certain point where the new series, since it came back in 2005, was going to like make it clear that it's kind of overstayed its welcome, and I think that we've seen that point here recently.
Could
And I know some people are going to be
relabel?
slow. I know some people are going to be slow to coming around to seeing that, but I really don't see this peaking anymore. I see it's going to peter out.
Could we retitle the series, not Series 8, Series Clara?
No.
Because basically it just...
I wouldn't care because I'm not watching it. I wouldn't care. I mean, it's like, I'm not watching it
You
because
know what the
it's
sad thing is, I liked Clara a lot until she started doing all this nonsense, and then I'm like, oh, man. Really now? Now you're flying the TARDIS too.
See,
Well,
I started feeling this way with Amy and Rory at a point, but now
Yeah.
I think I missed, like, I don't think I was right in feeling that.
I want
because
Amy to come back in the TARDIS and throw her around.
Yeah.
Get the hell out, my TARDIS. Or even Don.
I'd rather the Master be a companion than Clara.
Jesus.
Maybe we could
That's
have
a
Amy
lot.
come back and take her out of the TARDIS and tell her to look at the flowers. Look at the pretty
Yeah.
flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah. Let's get Walking Dead names in there.
But Jacob said he had an article, though, about Captain Jack and Rose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guy, Jacob.
Yeah. Well, Captain, but yeah.
Or, yeah.
It says Doctor Who Stephen Moffat hasn't closed the door on River Song or Jack Harkness, and it says if you're a Doctor Who fan, chances are there's a certain character you'd like to see return to the TARDIS for another adventure at the Doctor's side. When a fan favorite character leaves the show, it's only natural to want more of that.
Right.
Joe,
Right.
do you want to read it?
Yeah, I'll read it. Okay.
The link I sent is in the thing.
I'll read it. Hold on. Okay.
Some words I don't get.
Okay. Right. It's never ever closed off. It's all about, do you have a strong story that's worth it, Moffat says. Unless you've got a story that is absolutely informed and invigorated by their presence, just bringing a character back as an ordinary story won't do it. While some fans might be fine with bringing each character back in a random guest appearance, Moffat makes a great point. Both River and Captain Jack Harkness are massive characters in Doctor Who mythology. He notes their returns would have to be seismic, uh, but not routine. He says giving them anything less would be a disservice to the characters and to the actors who brought them to life. Besides, it's better to get to let them be missed than wear out their welcome, right? Sometimes you have to know when a story's over. You do, Moffat says. One of the things you always want to say is leave them wanting more. Still, perhaps the stars will align one day in a future season, and Whovians around the world will get to see River and Jack one more time. That would be something special. Now falling. Okay, so I'm going to say this. The odds of seeing River in Series 9 is like 50-50. The odds of seeing Captain Jack is like 10%. But there is a possibility that he kind of used Russell T. Davis's story about the faces with Capaldi. So maybe as a thank you, Russell T. Davis says throw Captain Jack in there for an episode because you're using my story, so maybe you can bring my character back. Possibility. Like a little bit of exchange, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he used Rusty Davis' story. Rusty T. Davis tells him to bring Captain Jack back.
And I
Yeah,
think I
payback.
agree with that sentiment he has too. That if he's going to bring them back, they have to have a big story. Because I don't want these
Yeah.
characters just to show up like, oh, I'm coming along on an adventure. No, they got to have a big
Yeah,
like,
they do.
yeah. So I agree with that.
Me too. And he could always join Vastra's band too, and he don't have to be the leader. He could be helping Vastra out.
Yeah.
And Jenny and Strax. New Torchwood.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Oh, I stuck my foot in my mouth. Now they're going to do that next year. Torchwood. 5. No. Yeah.
So no, as for the whole Capaldi face thing, you think they're going to touch upon that more in Series 9?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, I think briefly. I mean, I think that Time Lords chose the face,
Yeah.
not him. Maybe the TARDIS is in the Tangerine. I don't know. Oh, man, I wish I remembered what Sharon said about that whole story. What was the significance of the oranges? Oh, man. I think it's something to do with, you know, back then, I think, like, they used to get oranges, like, for people that were hungry. I think Santa, something like you brought them that or something like that to show that it's about giving, not necessarily what the gift is. But, you know, big things come in small packages. Like, in other words, an orange could be the difference from, I don't want to get it wrong, but something about, I gotta ask her. I don't want to ruin the whole story, but it's something to do with that. Oh, look, I could Google it. I could do that
I
too.
think I know what story you're talking about, but I think I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to Google it.
Because when you said the thing about bringing oranges to people who were hungry, that
Yeah.
sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
I just can't wait for the Christmas special. Just hope it's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I see an article here where it talks about oranges, clementines, mandarins, and other citrus, like the tradition of giving them as Christmas gifts. In these days of modern refrigeration and air-shipped produce, we tend to take perishable items for granted. But oranges and other citrus fruits were once a precious luxury in Europe and North America, enjoyed for only a brief period each year. They made welcome Christmas gifts especially in the midst of cold winter. Not to mention they fought in diseases such as scurvy.
Yeah.
It was something. It was something. What was it? I'm sure it was. No, it's just like. Gotta ask her tomorrow. I don't know. Anything to say, Jacob?
Well, just looking forward to seeing the Christmas special and seeing like more Doctor Who stars next year in 2015.
Yeah.
And Series 9.
Very good. Anything closing, Chris?
No, I think Jacob said it pretty well.
Can't find anything in oranges. So, all right, Mike D.
Yes.
Anything closing? Doctor Who's not turning into one. Yeah, I can get started with that. All right.
It's not even that. I mean, no. I mean, I just don't. And we talked to Gloria and we talked to Danette the other night, and they were against that also.
Yes.
So it's not a sexist or misogynist sort of thing.
I think beyond that, I have to ask the other females too, but yeah.
Yeah. I hope I'm wrong, but I have a bad feeling about this show and where it's going to be headed.
Dr. 13, gonna be a woman.
93%.
No, not even like that. I mean, I'm talking about like
93% that the 13th Doctor is going to be a woman.
And what's that math based on? What's your source for that?
My source is basically taking Series 1 till now and the amount of times that they're talking about it this year.
So you
compared
pull
to
it
year
out
one.
of ass, what you're trying to say.
Basically, I just made up the percentage. It's just
Okay. All right. Well, you know, I might have to agree with you, but I mean,
basically
yeah.
tried to make it seem cool, but it just, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
he's talking about it every freaking week now.
Yeah, and they're kind of foreshadowing it, like you've discussed and we've talked over. They foreshadowed it, you know, with the Clara thing, and then with the
tell
Misty.
Moffat. I just want to tell Moffat, dude, we get it. When you leave, you're going to make the Doctor a woman, and then somebody else is going to handle her. We get it. We understand that's the way it's going to happen. In fact, what's probably really going to happen is you're going to make her a woman, and you're going to write that season, and that's it, because you have to be the one to write the first episodes with her. So,
yeah,
I understand.
I'm really afraid that he's going to do that because that would be his lasting legacy. So I'm the guy that made the Doctor a woman.
Yes, that will be. It will be.
And that kind of reeks as a gimmick to me.
Series 12.
Do it for those reasons.
Series 12. Doctor's a woman.
12. You think it's going to be that far out?
Might be.
I actually wouldn't mind it if the Doctor was a woman, if they did kind of change it a bit, because it would make it more interesting to see what aspects a woman Doctor would make than a male Doctor.
I'll still watch it, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, it would just be like the curiosity factor, kind of like if they did the next James Bond film and you realized that James Bond became a woman.
Yeah.
30 bit James Bond being a child.
You might watch it for curiosity.
James Bond Junior cartoon.
Yeah, you'll have an influx of people who are like, "Oh, I'm never watching this show again," and they'll watch it.
Yeah, I say the same thing too. I'm not watching. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you I'd watch it for the curiosity factor for like the first episode or so, but
Yeah.
I'd be done with it because I know why they're doing that. It's just too gimmicky, and they're altering the character. In my opinion, too, I believe they're altering it too much by doing something like that.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna do everything show before we close it out.
All
So,
right.
take care, bye bye.